everyone.
How we doing, everyone? And welcome back to another edition. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined by John Cool 19, coming off another hot week. John, how you feeling about the Palmetto Championship, and how did you do last week?
I did just fine. My cash had 5 out of 6. That was good enough to double up. That gave me a bit of profit on the week. I went heavy cash like I spoke about on the show. That worked out fine. I had one lineup that was really, really good with 5 out of 6 in 20 max that did fine, but nothing huge. I think you had a much better week than I did. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I did check FanDuel after I finished the week, and I usually do, but I guess for some reason a mistakenly passed me by. But I checked it, and lo and behold, I won the $7 single entry, took down first for a grand, so that was a little surprise to see. But even on DraftKings, I took home over $200 profit. So this was a big week for me at the Memorial. The Ohio hometown event seems to be fitting for some success. And yeah, look at, just real quick, we want to talk about it for a second. The Rahm thing was probably the I've never seen something like that in my entire life, even in any sport, where someone dominating so well just gets thrown from, I don't know, just qualified withdraw. You don't see that often. I mean, what did you think of the Rahm thing?
Yeah, I thought it was really sad. I think it was poorly handled by the PGA Tour. I think they could have had the same result by telling him in the locker rooms. I think they could have made an announcement on TV on the 14th hole and walked him, or have him take a golf cart back to the clubhouse. There's a whole lot of ways they could have done this. I think that would have had the same result, or in my personal opinion, and I'm not the one in charge, let the man play, give him a mask, send him out solo, have his caddy sign a waiver, whatever it takes, and just let the man play. Obviously, if he wasn't a risk of getting all those other golfers and media and fans sick on that 18th green where there was hundreds and hundreds of people, then he wasn't really risking that much that very next day going out and playing 18 more holes. So pretty sad day for golf. I think just poorly handled. I assume they'll do better next time. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Poor John Rahm, but actually it was pretty beneficial for me in DraftKings and on FanDuel with that withdrawal, because I did not have much John Rahm, and I had a Morikawa and Cantlay, so it paid off for my wallet. It's just something you don't want to see for the sport. But anyway, moving on to the Palmetto Championship. This is in place of the Canadian Open. If you guys have not had a chance, please do give John's preview a look. That did come out yesterday. Like and subscribe to that, and then come back to this video, get these picks, and yeah. So let's get to those favorites. Let's talk Brooks Koepka at 11-1. He is first in my model in strokes gained approach. Second in ball striking. This is from the last 36 rounds. But yeah, Brooks Koepka, he's been in great form. He did have the runner-up at the PGA Championship. Pretty good out of the sand. There is a lot of waste areas here, so I wanted to give a little bit of weight towards sands saves. Distance is going to be pretty critical off the tee. To proximity from 200 check out as well. Brooks kind of feeling it right now and outside of the golf course, and I think he's going to find his way back to the winner's circle here soon. He kind of stole a victory in Phoenix earlier this year, but I think he can certainly bring one home. Either it's this week or next week. I really like Brooks Koepka these next 2 weeks, but go ahead and give me your favorite. What are your thoughts on Brooks?
Yeah, I love Brooks. I play him regularly. I was on him big at the last major, helped out quite a bit. But for this week, give me some more Ty Hatton. I like the price here at 10-4. I think he comes in at a good number, 12-1. There is not a lot at the top end of this event. The field is very, very weak overall. And really the top end is just these handful of guys. So really, as we're looking at outright winners, I think your best bet is to probably find some long shots, spend your money there if you're in the betting market. But on DraftKings here, give me Ty Hatton. He is absolutely excellent on approach. Over his last 36 rounds, he's number 2. He's also great number 1 ball striking, number 2 opportunities gained over that same time, and number 1 from in proximity from 200 plus yards. And we're going to see that quite a bit this week. This is a super long course, especially for a par 71. I believe it is the longest par 71 on tour. So we're looking for some long drivers, but really, guys, long approach shots and just your best approach players. So I think both of these guys fit into that. Looking at some kind of comp courses and his ability to play well on Bermuda, he did win the API earlier this year. I'm sorry, last year, the 2020 API on Bermuda. He was Tour Championship. He was 7th place again, Bermuda. And then also at the RBC in 2020, he was T3 there. Again, Bermuda grass greens. I think he has a great chance to excel this week. Give me quite a bit of Ty Hatton here at the top of my DraftKings lineups.
Yeah, I certainly think that's up pretty well for this course. There's a lot of correlation between, Kiowa, and then I even think some courses on the European Tour that's set up pretty well for the same. And, some of them desert in Abu Dhabi, and the HSBS championship also does pretty well in correlation with this course. Pretty flat, so I like Hatton as well. I worry about the around the green game. It hasn't been that well, but I think that's, you're going to have some flaws in some of these picks this week. And then we'll get into some value here. Lucas Glover, 600. He did come in 8th at the Charles Schwab. He's a really good ball striker. I think it's a pretty bad betting number, but Lucas Glover is pretty solid. He's been playing well. He offers some consistency when it comes to ball striking. He's 10th off the tee and 6th ranking numbers recently. He didn't play that well on the approach last week, but he did gain over 4 strokes at the Charles Schwab. So let's just hope the putter shows up for Glover, and I think he'll do just fine. My next pick is Bo Hogg. Kind of a no name on tour, but he does show up sometimes in some of these events where the field is pretty weak. He is a good ball striker. He is in some decent form. Bo Hogg finished 13th last week at the Memorial. He does play well in windier conditions in case the wind picks up in South Carolina. 15th on the approach, 10th in ball striking, and 10th from 200 proximity. So I think that sets up pretty well. I just worry about the around the green game. As long as he can make some, sand saves or make some birdies, and I think he'll do fine as long as he's not, setting himself up to fail with his short game. I think Bo Hogg will do just fine. What are your thoughts on those two guys, and who are your value plays for the week?
Yeah, I think Glover might be a guy that a lot of people tend to gravitate to. I think he might be a decent cash option here this week. I'll kind of dig into that a little bit farther come Wednesday. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Bo Hogg just qualified for the U.S. Open via sectionals earlier today. I'm almost positive I saw his name in the list of golfers who have now qualified. So congrats to him if that is the case here today. It'll be a good week to get him kind of primed and ready for the U.S. Open. So give me some Bo Hogg as well. I like that pick. A couple of guys I am targeting here in the value range. Vincent Wale, he was a guy we talked about as a sleeper a few weeks back, a guy that is just absolutely killing it on tour right now. The price has gone up quite a bit. I think we played him at like 6,300 or 6,400 a couple weeks ago, whatever it was. He has made the jump, 7,700 here, but you'll see that this week all over in the pricing. We talked about it before this recording that a lot of these 8K and 7K guys are staples in the 6K range on many events. So the price increase is steep, but I'll take the form here for Vincent Wale. His last 10 events, he has just the one missed cut. That was 10 events ago, so he's got 9 in a row. Of those, 6 of them are top 30 finishes. He was 20th last time out at the Charles Schwab, where he gained 5.4 strokes on approach. So I absolutely love the ball striking here. The form is great. Bermuda is the only surface that he actually gains strokes putting on, so I'll take that as well. And then just the stats are fantastic lately here. He is 4th on par 5 scoring, 3rd sand saves. He's also 10th 3-putt avoidance, which I'm waiting just a little bit this week. Is around the green game is good as well. So quite a bit to like. He isn't the best ball striker on tour, but I think all those peripheral stats, things like the around the greens, the par 5 scoring, will make up for it again this week. He has not been lighting up the stat models. Instead, he's just been moving up the leaderboard every single week. So I will take that this week. Him, and then Ben Martin, another guy that we probably have never touted on this show. Very rarely do I play him. It's been a couple times this year, but at 7,600, I really do like where the form is at for him. His last 10 events, he made 7 cuts. He was 26th at the Byron Nelson, 11th at Wells Fargo, and 9th at Corrales. He's got some great finishes over the last 6 months or so. He plays pretty well in the wind, which I am expecting to be a factor. And then the stats also on him, he's 25th on par 5 scoring, top 30 on approach, top 30 tee to green. He is top 10 opportunities gained. So I think Ben Martin is set for a great week here. And I don't know that he's going to be very well owned. I would expect Wale and his form to be much higher owned. I think Ben Martin would be a fantastic pivot in your tournaments. So I'm going to be playing both of these guys this week. May even find myself on some Wale and cash. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Vincent Wale's going to be pretty popular after the success that everybody had with him as a punt. So I expect his ownership to be pretty high, but I certainly don't think that's going to scare me off of him in certain spots. I just don't think I'll have as much exposure to him in a 20 entry max or 50 lineups or something, whatever I do with the 50 cent this week. But yeah, I think Wally's going to be a pretty popular pick and a pretty good one at that. Ben Martin, pretty good on Bermuda as well. I like that pick. Moving on to some sleepers of the week. Just going to take a short moment to talk about a guy named John Pak. I think you're going to hear his name throughout. He is the Jack Nicklaus Award winner for top university. This is his first professional start, I believe, or is this his?
Not his first start, but first as a pro.
Second. I wasn't sure if Pak was making a debut as well. First pro. I think he did play in the U.S. Open.
But as an amateur.
As an amateur. Got it. Okay, so first professional start. Got it. In that event, he did pretty well from 200 plus. He 15th in the field, and then he was 29th off the tee, so he's pretty far. He's won a lot of tournaments on the university circuit, so I think John Pak at 6,900. I think it might be worth a shot too, as like a top 20 bet or something. I think you can maybe make some money on that as well. Maybe this is a coming out party. Maybe he's Colin Morikawa with him. And what are your thoughts on John Pak, and who is your sleeper of the?
Yeah, I will certainly be playing some John Pak this week. Florida State kid, I do like that pick as well. I think he would be a great top 20 bet this week. The outright, I'm just not sure. He's going to take a little time. Even the Morikawa and Hovland, we watched them. Took a little bit of time for them to get going, but like Morikawa has 6 wins in his first 2 years on tour. Hovland's got a couple as well. So these guys can win. They can win earlier in the career. I don't know if it's going to be professional event number 1 for John Pak, but give me that top 20. Give me some Pak in DFS. And I love the look on this kid. He dresses like Ricky Fowler is what it reminds me of. So I'll be playing a lot of John Pak and rooting for him in the attire this week. For me, though, he's popped in my stat model. Pak obviously wasn't going to pop there just with his limited rounds that we have stats on, but Roger Sloan sticks out to me at 7K, 175 to 1 odds to win. I think he would be another great top 20, even a top 10 bet on him. For me, Roger Sloan here, the approach is fantastic. He's 9th in this field last 36 rounds. He's also top 15 on tee to green, top 10 ball striking, top 10 greens in regulation. I think Roger Sloan's going to give himself a ton of opportunities at birdie this week. He rates out really, really well if you look at the last like 24 to 50 rounds. That 36 rounds is usually my comfort zone, but I kind of looked at a little bit longer form, a little bit shorter form, and he pops really well in that range there. And then he gains well in windy conditions also. So a lot to like here. His form is good. 7 out of his last 10 cuts. 3 of those were top 25s, and he was 25th back at the Honda, another Bermuda course. So I'm going to play quite a bit of Roger Sloan here. I don't know if I'll find my way there in cash, but we'll see kind of as things shake out. The Stars and Scrubs kind of has a feel this week with wanting to play with one of those guys up at the top that you know should play well and then figure it out from there. I think Sloan fits into a ton of those builds. So give me quite a bit there. And I'm going to do a quick shout out to Davis Thompson. He is also making his professional debut this week. He is a former #1 amateur. A lot going for this kid, and we're certainly going to hear his name a lot over the coming months and years. So I'm going to go ahead and get on the bandwagon here early. I'll be playing both John Pock and Davis Thompson in some GPP lineups this week as sleepers.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I like both picks as well. Young kids going to be trying to make a name for themselves this week or a big major, who knows. But yeah, Palmetto Championship inaugural event should be pretty good for our one and dones. I'm just gonna kind of take a shot in the dark here and go with Lucas Glover. I didn't want to burn. I have Brooks and Dustin Johnson left in the trigger or in a holster. And I want to pull the trigger on one of them at a place like this Palmetto Championship. They might not take it as seriously. So I don't know. I may pick Brooks next week, and I'm just going to go with Lucas Glover here and maybe take a shot in the dark. And maybe this is the event Lucas Glover can figure out how to win.
Sure. Well, give me Ty Hatton. I think he's just as good as the other guys at the top for this week. All the things I talked about before, the Bermuda record for him is very good. And I think it's kind of a step down from, like you said, burning one of the studs. And more than half of the entries in the Pat Mayo Open here have already used Ty Hatton, so I don't know how popular he'll actually be. Although of the 50% who haven't used him, there's probably a good chunk who will this week, and I'll be there with them. So give me Ty Hatton. I will roll with that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shot. I think he has a really good chance of winning, probably more so than Lucas Glover. So if you're watching this, take a chance on pull and pray. But yeah, all right. Let's keep the good cash, and I'm looking forward to another successful week. So any last?
That's it. Let's have another great week.
Thank you, and tune in for some showdown later in the week.
All right.
Take it easy.